What is going on, guys? It's your boy Kozak. We're going to be doing a tier list video of the best modern sport cars. Well, some of them aren't the best, which is why it's going to be a tier list video. First things first, do not get butthurt if I don't like your car, okay? I have my reasons. I tried to include a variety of cars. We have 63 cars from when I counted. Some of them are practically a sedan and common traffic. I barely consider them sport cars, but I had to include them. While on the other side, they're practically almost a supercar. So, you know, we kind of got both sides of the spectrum and everything in between. But, again, these are modern cars. We're not going into too much into the 1990s. Just basically, I think the oldest thing that we have in here ended in 2005, and then everything is 2005 onward until 2025. Let's go ahead and jump into it and start. This is with the tier list. As you can see, S, A, B, C, and F. F is obviously the trash tier. S is the best tier. We're rating them on overall. So that's going to include pricing, looks, modability, and just overall the entire platform. Now, I will be rating some cars that I consider a status car a bit lower. A status car is when a car is exceeded by its previous version, and the only reason you would buy it is if you want status. The first car we have to rate is the Lexus RCF. You know, I've decided that we're also going to add a D tier. A Lexus RCF, it's a V8. It sounds good. It doesn't look that good, in my opinion. It kind of looks a little weird. It's really expensive compared to buying a Camaro, a Hellcat, or, you know, a Mustang. I feel like you're kind of overexpending here on it being a Lexus, which I don't think is the best thing to do. So we're going to go ahead and put it B. I would say it's in the bottom half of B, maybe the top of C. So we're just going to keep it there for now. Now, the next one is a Honda Civic Type R. This is John Cena's car, I believe. And I don't like Honda Civic owners, if I'm being honest. These cars are pretty overpriced. They only come in manual, so it's a driver's car. But you have a lawnmower engine in it, so it's not much of a driver's car, in my opinion. I wanted one of these before. I wouldn't want it anymore. I would put it below the RCF if we're rating everything. The next car is the GR Corolla. This one I feel like is above the Honda, but also I don't know because, I mean, dude, but neither of these cars I would personally want to own because they're not real sport cars to me. These are practically what I was talking about when I said these are sedans. I wouldn't really want these. Next, we have a Coyote. Now, the fact that this is a Coyote gives it bonus points. I wouldn't put this as high as the S550, but it does have a Coyote, so you got to put it up there. Next is the Jaguar F-Type. I think this is a pretty cool car. They look great. They sound great. I think it's pretty good at sitting at B tier. I know they have some reliability issues. Next, we're actually getting a VQ, which is the Nissan 350Z. I think I would put this also below the Civic, honestly. It's really good for its price, but I think when you have the 370, these are kind of pointless to buy. Tesla S Plaid. So, if you know about these cars, they're super fast. They're probably fun to get into, but it doesn't have an engine. So, that's F tier. I mean, like, they don't even look that good. I'm going to be honest. Chevy SS. I've heard nothing but good things about this car. So, I mean, like, but personally, I don't know. I wouldn't take it over an RCF. I don't think it belongs in C tier, though. So, I think this is where we move the RCF back up to B. And, yeah, we kind of move the Chevy SS below it. But I think it's a really cool car. They don't look that bad. They're sedans, and I mean they rip. So what more could you ask for? Z4 BMW. Honestly, I think this car kind of became obsolete when the Supra came out. I think the Supra kind of is the cooler version of this car. I wouldn't buy a Z4 personally. So next to the 370Z, I'd actually put this in B tier. This was one of the cars I wanted when I was younger. I think it's really cool. They have a lot of modding potential. I mean, they don't sound the best. They're pretty cheap at least. Now the 400Z, these guys ruined their own market pretty quick. They're pretty cheap now. They're like low 40s, high 30s, and I mean that's not terrible for like a new car with no miles. But at the same time, the fact that it's reusing the 370 and the 350's chassis and it's this expensive makes no sense. And the markups, which I'd honestly put it down below the sedans, which is crazy. I'd rather own it than the sedans, but they kind of botched this car with the price that they decided to go with. It's really not worth that much. It's just a 370Z with an appearance package, essentially. I'm going to grab this first because the next car is an AMG GT. and this is an AMG GT. Now, the fact I have two on here is for a simple reason. I think this car's cool. I would get it over all these. I think it actually is one of the top B tier cars. Now, the reason it's this low is because these cars are very long and they don't look proportional. However, if you wide body one of these, it goes straight to the S tier. And that's genuinely how I feel about them. I think this is one of the best cars Mercedes has made. It looks really good, but I feel like it needs a wide body kit. And when it has a wide body kit, it's one of the best looking cars that you could buy. BRZ, Toyota, whatever this is, I would put it honestly above the Cobalt. I feel like this is a kind of a driver's car. I mean, especially if you get it in manual. But at the same time, you're kind of wasting your money if you buy this because of the little horsepower. It's not reliable. GT350. Okay, so this is kind of looking bad because we have two Mustangs. I think the list is just in a bad spot, but we have two Mustangs in A tier. The Voodoo has its reliability issues until the later years, but it's a really cool car. Are you faster than a Coyote? Not really, but this is just a driver's car, and they look pretty good. Next one is a Lotus Evora. Now, these cars are low-key sleeper in my opinion because they look absolutely insane. They don't cost how much you think they would cost, so I would put this honestly in A tier. Above the GT350, I don't know. I'm not a very big Lotus person, but I think it definitely belongs up there. Alright, so we got a Hyundai Veloster. I'd put this below the Civic. I mean, it's like kind of the same things I've already talked about. Same with the Elantra N. Honestly, this one I'd put in D tier, but I'd put the 350Z below it. Next, we have the RX8. I think this is a pretty cool car, but it has terrible reliability issues. They're usually clapped out. They're really cheap, but I think if you modify them nice and somebody with money that knows how to modify their car was to get one, I think they could make this car into a pretty cool car. Just, I wouldn't take it over any of these. I think it kind of belongs around where the 350Z is, so that's where I'm going to put it. The S2000, I'd put it above the Elantra, but it's going straight into D tier. I don't even need to talk about it. These cars cost way too much for what they are now, and they're not worth it. Alright, for our next car, we have the GT500, which obviously is a top tier car. However, this car is a status vehicle. If you build a Coyote, it'll always be faster. It's more customizable, has better aftermarket support. However, this is a crazy car for the amount of money you get still, but it is a status car. Don't forget that, because if you build a Coyote, it'll always be cheaper to build and replace a Coyote that is built and sleeved versus having a Predator that costs 30 grand to replace, and all the parts for it are a lot more expensive. So for that reason, I actually would take a GT350 over a GT500, which is a crazy take, but purely for a bang for buck perspective, I think that. Now, in reality, would I rather own a GT500 than a GT350? Yes, but in this tier list, I wouldn't put it above it, purely because of the price. Camaro SS is the next one on our list, and I think it goes below the AMG GT, so it doesn't make it all the way into A tier. The LT1 is not as good as the Coyote, so it doesn't belong in A tier, but it's still up there. It's a pretty good car. Then we have the G82. Now, with the G82, we're going to just put the G80 in here as well. They're both basically the same car, same engine, same chassis. The only difference is the G80 looks better. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I'm a coupe lover, okay? But it does not look better than the sedan. And, I mean, it's just like, dude, the quarter panel on the G80s looks so good when you have four doors. It, like, curves right over your wheel. And it's like, that's one thing that other cars don't have, and it irritates me. And I don't know why the G82s don't just have that. I guess it would kind of look a little weird, and so it's kind of obvious, never mind. But I would put, honestly, the G80 in A tier, because you're getting a lot of performance, downpipe tune, and I like how they look. But the G82 goes below the AMG GT, in my honest opinion. Honestly, I think we're moving up the AMG GT to A tier. Bottom of A. Now, with the Camaro ZL1, this is going above all these cars. Above the Evora. Evora is a bit more unique as a car, because not everybody knows what it is, and it's super cheap, by the way, compared to how it looks, like I said. But the ZL1, it beats it. Does it go over the GT500 performance-wise and everything? I don't really think so, but I would still take it purely because of the price point. And honestly, this is the cheapest way to get into an LT4, and it's an amazing track car, so it still beats out the GT350, which, in my honest opinion, the ZL1 makes it into the S tier. I think this is an S tier car, and I don't like Camaros that much, but I would buy this car. 5th gen Camaro, I think, goes above the Cobalt. I wouldn't take it over a Lexus or a Jaguar, but it has an LS3, so it has an amazing platform. The next car is the NSX. The NSX is a JDM legend. This car, in today's day and age, isn't really worth what it costs, but purely because of its old status, I think it belongs in at least A tier. A lot of people might get mad that I'm not putting it in S tier, but I just don't think it belongs in S tier. It's really, like, it's a legend, but not compared to today's standards. Like this car isn't the Michael Jordan of cars, you know. Michael Jordan can stand the test of time, but this car did not. So, small issue, I just realized, I thought the Alfa Romeo, now my pictures are really small because it's pretty zoomed out for me, but I thought the Alfa Romeo was the Jaguar. So let me put the Jaguar where the Alfa Romeo is. Take out the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo Giulia is like, you know, just, it's a pretty basic sedan. It's pretty unique because not a lot of people have it, but I wouldn't put it above an LS3 platform. Terminator, I think this goes to the top of B tier. This car sounds insane, and I mean, the sound of it alone puts it up here. They look pretty good in my opinion, but they're pretty outdated now, and I mean, I'm not going to put it up into A tier. I just feel like it doesn't compete with modern cars anymore, but it's a pretty crazy car. C606, this car, I think it would go into A tier. It's not quite, it's a driver's car like the GT350, but it's just not quite there, purely because if we take the Grand Sport, I think this car belongs into S tier. Now, C6 Grand Sport over a Z06, listen, hear me out. The LS3 is the same architecture of the LS9. They both use the same architecture as the same shit, but the LS9 is just built for boost. So if you take a Grand Sport and you build it, and you build its LS3, you're going to have basically a cheaper ZR1. This is essentially a baby ZR1. Now, a lot of people don't think that way, and a lot of people aren't going to push a Grand Sport the way I'm talking about. But if you just grab a Grand Sport, throw on some ZR1 fenders on it, and I'm not saying impersonate a ZR1, but like, you would have a badass car. And I think that's why the Grand Sport kind of stays undefeated, as long as it's in manual. If it's not, it drops down to A. But the Z06, I think I'd put it above the Evora, just not quite as high as the GT350 and GT500, purely because the LS7 has a lot more issues than the LS3 does. Mustang S197, this car, I mean, like, Coyote version, pretty good, we could put it up, but we're going to rate this the non-Coyote version, and I think, honestly, I'd put it above, below the Cobalt. I mean, it's hard to put it, like, GR86, like, I would rather have V8 than a GR86, so I kind of want to move it down, but the looks of the GR86 just beat the Cobalt and the S197 for me, so I have to keep them there. We have an Evo. Honestly, this is a sexy Evo. I think I would honestly take this into A tier. I love my Mitsubishis. I would definitely take them over a Subaru, which the next one is a Subaru STI, putting it on top of C tier. I don't like Subarus. Basically it, like, I mean, they don't look as good as Mitsubishis. They still blow up like Mitsubishis. Miata, this is a pretty great track car, actually. So, Miata definitely has to go up there. I personally wouldn't take it that high up. Like, I wouldn't want to take it over a lot of these cars in B tier. And although it's a good car, at the end of the day, it's very feminine. It's a Miata, so you don't want to take it. Like, imagine telling people you own one of these. I don't know. No offense to anyone either, but I just wouldn't want one of these, if I'm being honest. So now we have the older Miata. Yeah, it's going pretty low. It's a cute car, but I wouldn't want to own one. GT5 Blackwing is one of the most expensive ways to get into an LT4, but you get a sedan version. It's pretty cool. I would take it over any car in B tier. I wouldn't put it in A tier just because of its price. Audi RS3. This is actually one of the fastest Audis you could buy, and you get status because it's an RS. And, I mean, does it look the best? No Audi really does. But, I mean, it's definitely up there. I'd put it above the NSX. Then we have the new Audi RS3. Now, there's something about this car that looks so good in the front and the rear. Just the side profile doesn't really match the aggression. I know they put the fender vents, but it's just not enough. If you modify it to look different, it's up there. But I'm gonna put it actually below the current RS3. I would rather have this one, but it has to be modified. Early generation Audi R8. I think I would put this above the Camaro SS and below a G80, because I would rather have a G80 than a early gen R8. They just don't look that good. So Coyote is king. This is actually the best bang for buck car you could buy. In fact, it doesn't even want me to put it on the top because it's hating. But essentially, this car it has the best customization, best aftermarket, one of the best engines like that you could buy for your money. This is the best bang for buck sports car in my opinion. The only thing it doesn't have out of the gate is looks. Everything else, if you're planning to keep a car for 5-10 years and just slowly add on to it, I think this is one of the best platforms to do so, and it's reliable. Audi TTRS, this is another fast Audi, but it looks a lot worse in my opinion, so I would put it actually just right above the Miata. It's a great car, but it looks like shit compared to the RS3 at least. C6ZR1, I think this also goes into S tier. I mean, it's the LS9 architecture. It's a status car though. It's just a status car. You're paying a lot of extra, so I wouldn't put it above a Grand Sport, but a ZR1's a ZR1. Alright, we have a CT4 Blackwing. This is just the worst version of a CT5 Blackwing, so I would just put it above the R8 because it looks so damn good, and you get a sedan. Next is a new generation R8, and I think this one actually goes up here. Now, I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. I think the AMG needs to go a little bit lower. The Camaro ZL1 needs to go a bit higher. I would put the R8 above the ZL1. Next, we have the Mustang S197 GT500. I mean, this car's pretty good. I mean, it ain't no Coyote, though. I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're pretty good. I'll put it in A tier at the bottom. I would rather actually have an Evo over this, surprisingly. Porsche, this is a Cayman. I mean, I'm not a big Porsche person, so when I put it in A tier, I mean, it's gotta be, right? So this is a C7Z06. I think I would take this actually over a C6 platform. You get into the LT4. The Camaro SS is just better around the track than the Z06 is, surprisingly. And I mean, just purely because of that, I feel like it belongs to be higher. And it's cheaper to get into it, so it has to be higher on the list. But I think I would rather take a Z06 over it. I'd also take it over a wide body AMG, if I'm being honest. C8ZR1, this is one of the craziest cars you could buy. I think it's an S tier, like hands down. Like what this car is doing is just absolutely insane. Is it a status car? We don't know yet, because we don't know what the C8s are fully capable of yet. But for now, I think this thing belongs in S tier. It's just insane what this car is doing. F82, I believe this is. The F-Series, I'm taking above the Audis and the Porsche. I wouldn't take it over an AMG GT, obviously, and I might as well grab this one. And I think the F82 belongs in A tier. F80 belongs in S tier. Now, I think the C8 belongs to be higher. The F80 just needs to be up there. It's so hard to move some of these cars around. It's just like, dang. Now, the car I have, which is a C7, gonna be the base model, and I mean, where would I put this? I'd take it over a Lexus RCF. I think it's up here. Now, where's the SS? Okay, so the SS. I would take it over an SS, so I'm gonna put it right below an R8. C7ZR1. This car is a status car. I'll put it above the GT500, but you're never going to find these. They're not worth the price. I would rather have a Z06. Audi RS5. I think this is the best looking Audi, but it underperforms the other Audis. I'll put it with the CT4. I'll put it in B tier. It looks great. It's one of the best looking Audis. You know, with the R8, I think then it's the RS5. As long as it's the coupe, it doesn't really hit like an RS3 or TTRS. You're kind of paying a lot of money for a look. We got a C63. C63s, I mean, I'll put that actually above the RS5. I think they sound crazy. They're kind of expensive. They don't look as good, but their performance is insane. And then we got the E63. So E63 goes into A tier because Kamal got this car and he low-key put me on how crazy of a car this is. This is a 2014. And I mean, dude, these things have horsepower for days. It's honestly insane. So I'm putting in A tier. In my opinion, they don't look that crazy, so they're going kind of towards the bottom of A tier, but it's a crazy car. G87, this is going to be the second car in F tier. I think if you get the Adro kit on it, this is one of the best looking cars you could buy, and it's worth it. But if you don't get an Adro kit and you have a stock M2, I don't care, man. They're just too fucking ugly. Honestly, I feel like I didn't put enough cars in F tier. But D tier is just as bad. Now, R35 GTR, this is Godzilla. This has status. Honestly, what this car is known for is what the Coyote should be known for. And Coyote is better, but I will put it in S tier. I would put it above the BMW, not above the C6s, but I think this is one of the craziest cars you could buy. It's really fast, it's really good, it's reliable, and overall, they do not depreciate. It looks good too. Not crazy, but it looks good. And honestly, this is one of the cars I definitely need to get eventually. Mark V Supra, also another car that eventually I'd probably want to get. But there's a few issues with this car. One is it's super small interior. Two is it's a B58. It's not a true M car. And I mean, but I would put this in A tier. I like how these cars sound. They're a very popular platform, very big aftermarket support. I'd put them above the Audi RS3s. All right, so we got stock Stingray C8. Honestly, this car's pretty good for what it is. I think it's on the top of B. The price is dropping pretty good right now, so I think they're gonna be in a really good marketplace, and you're getting a lot for what it is. Now C8 Z06. That's got to be at the top of A, right below the manual GT350. Other than that, if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Hopefully that video isn't too long. Was it consistent? No. Is it my opinion? Yes. Tier list is looking pretty factually accurate, and I think this is the only way a modern sports car tier list should look. On that, I'm going to go ahead and see y'all in the next one. Toodles. Bye.